Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is Wednesday, we're going to do a mighty discussion. Got a couple of things to talk about in today's stream. We're going to be talking about Andre Gomes' stamp and his 3-game ban which he received retrospectively for said stamp on Fulham's Alexander Mitrovic last Saturday. We're going to be talking about why that has such a massive impact on the game of football, because how many players stamp on players' foots and players' legs every single week and nothing gets done unless the referee sees it. But an Everton player does it once and the end of the world, he gets banned retrospectively for 3 games. We'll go into some examples and we'll talk about why we all know the FA is madly corrupt in this stream. We're also going to talk about David Unsworth's u23's being crowned the Premier League 2 champions once again for the second time in 3 years. Morgan Feeney lifting the trophy, an absolutely amazing achievement after a 1-0 victory at Goodison Park against Brighton on Monday. We'll go into a little bit more detail on that in today's stream. Also, I just want to say, before we go any further into this team, I've had a little bit of a midlife crisis after the Fulham defeat. You know, my head's gone everywhere. No, I'm only messing. You probably noticed a couple of things different about myself. One, I put my hair in this mad sort of weird headband. I don't know whether I'm quite sold on it yet. Don't know whether I'm fussed on it. But basically, it's too long to do anything with it. And if I keep it like down, it just gets in my eyes and gets in my face and does my head. And the only way I'll push it back is by sticking a headband in it. So I've just done it purely out of out of getting it out my face, basically. If it looks decent, I might keep it, but I don't know. Another thing is this massive bloody white mark on my face. Basically, yesterday in work, I just basically got impetigo. Basically, if you don't know what impetigo is, it's a sort of skin condition that comes on your face, and it's very highly contagious, and it's there for 2 or 3 weeks or something. The scab's there, but it's only contagious for a couple of days. So this is actually antibiotic cream. So bear with me, the fact that I look like an absolute idiot. I've got a big massive white patch on my chin, which I promise is antibiotic cream for impetigo and not anything else, and I've got a headband in. But it's Wednesday, isn't it? It's Wednesday. We're here to talk about the Blues. We were shite at the weekend, so I think I can sort of excuse myself for being a little bit off the rails today. But no, of course we're going to talk about Andre Gomes' stamp in today's team, like we said, as well as the under-23s being crowned champions. Craig says we have been up and down like a horse draw this season, Cam. We have. The inconsistency has been something that's massively killed us, and yeah, like I said, we spoke about that in Monday's live stream. It's something that was spoke about quite frequently before. We are just madly inconsistent, and that's just how we've been this season. It's not been good enough. Shabba said just put a baseball cap on, Cam. I would, but I don't know how dodgy that'd go with the green screen either, so I've just thought, fuck it, I'll stick this headband in for the minute. And Paul says, I really don't think Gomes' stamp was all that bad. Seemed much worse, not punished. Exactly, and that's something that we'll go into talking about in just a minute. A couple of examples in recent weeks of stamps that have been much worse than Andre Gomes's and have just been absolutely swept under the carpet by the FA, of course. Let me just tweet today's stream out so everybody knows we are live. A massive thank you to everybody that is currently in the stream already. If you're enjoying the first 25 seconds, please do leave a like. I understand I'm probably going to get a little bit of stick about this headband, and fair enough, but it is literally just out of practicality that it's in there at the minute. I'm not sticking it in there to go, oh, I've got a new belted hairstyle. It's just because get it out my face, and hopefully if I can grow my hair longer, I might keep it in, who knows, but not if I keep getting ripped. EFC 1878 says Salah did the exact same thing against Porto and got nothing, the bastard. Exactly, and that's one of the examples we're going to go into speaking about. And Shabba says, and Alice Band, yeah, listen, I understand I'm probably going to get ripped, so fair enough. But anyway, yeah, let's go in to talk about the positive elements of today's stream first. We'll talk about the Gomes stamp in just a minute. We'll talk about the effect that's had on him. Of course, Andre Gomes now won't play at Goodison Park again in this loan spell. Of course, if we sign him on a permanent deal or he comes back next season on another loan, which I do think we'll sign him on a permanent, he'll play at Goodison. But let's say he never comes back and we don't end up signing him. Andre Gomes won't play at Goodison Park again. Those 3 games will cover that. I think he'll be available for the last couple of games of the season, but none at Goodison Park. I think the Spurs game, last game of the season, is the next one he is available for. And before we go into talking about that anyway, let's talk about David Unsworth's under-23s. What an absolutely fantastic achievement again on Monday night, beating Brighton by 1-0 to secure the Premier League 2 title. And I tell you what, the bunch of lads there, the way that David Unsworth's got them playing, the fact that they all play for each other, they're like a family, they all, they're all like a massive group of friends, and you can see that in the performances. They're playing together, they're winning together, and they're sticking together. And you've seen that on Monday night. A really, really tough game. Brighton very, very close in the league running as well. If Brighton had won that game, they'd have been in pole position to win the league. So, you know, it was a tough game. It wasn't like they were playing, you know, a team that were lower down the table that had nothing to, you know, play for or fight for. Brighton really, really did have everything to fight for. But obviously the under-23s come out on top. Some fantastic performances on show in that squad. You've got the likes of Morgan Feeney, who we haven't yet seen in the main squad. You know, a lot we've seen him the odd European night and the odd pre-season game here and there, but we haven't quite seen him consistently. Got the likes of Brendan Galloway, of course, who played a massive part in Roberto Martinez's Everton squad before he left. The likes of Lewis Gibson, who was absolutely fantastic. Bas Samba as well. Sabu, who was wonderful as well, and you know, Fraser Hornby, another player that's been absolutely fantastic this season for the under-23s. And you look at that and you almost think, our under-23s have won 2 Premier League 2 titles, 2 under-23s divisions in, you know, the last 2 years. And okay, when they won it the first time, they had the likes of John Joe Kenny in there, they had the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Benny Beningame, and, you know, Tom Davis was in and around the team as well. And maybe, okay, they've come up and they've started to play in the, you know, the first team. John Joe Kenny is a first team player. Dominic Calvert-Lewin plays in the starting 11 every single week. Tom Davis, of course, we know about. But you start to look at it now and you think, you know what? Maybe it is time for the likes of Morgan Feeney, Fraser Hornby, you know, Brendan Galloway again to be sort of brought into the, you know, the running for the first team. Because at the end of the day, we're not fantastic at the minute, are we? We're looking at an Everton Football Club that have been massively inconsistent this season, have, you know, leaked goals and failed to score goals, you know, in a lot of times this season. And at the end of the day, it's not like we're sitting here going, we've got a belted under-23s, but I don't think any of them have fit into our team because, you know, Morgan Feeney, he's a leader, he's a captain, he's a strong, dominant centre-half, he's an Evertonian through and through. He's the type of player that you're looking at thinking, especially, and I'm not saying we will, I'm not saying we won't, but especially if we get into a European competition next season, if we get into the Europa League, if we finish in one of those top 7 places, Morgan Feeney's the type of player that you're looking at thinking, yeah, you're going to be part of the first team next season, you're being brought in. Fraser Hornby's the type of player that you're looking and go, you know what, if we can sign a 20 to 30 goal a season striker and he can play next to Dom and we can develop Dom, you're going to come in to be the next player. You know, you've got the likes, like I said, Brendan Galloway, who's got that first team experience already. He's played out on loan at the likes of West Brom, Sunderland, sorry, not West Brom, and he's played for Everton before in the Premier League. So you're looking at that squad and you're thinking there's some absolutely fantastic footballers here, and you know, you've got to be an absolutely fantastic footballer to win any division at any level 2 years on the run. You know, in professional football you have to be doing it well, and our under-23s have been absolutely fantastic. And I put a little comment there in the little news section there. I've put, alright for a glorified PE teacher, which is what Joey Barton actually called David Unsworth when he was in charge of the first team for a brief spell last season. Now Joey Barton had just been done for punching another manager on the sideline, and David Unsworth just won his 2nd Premier League title in 3 years. So it really is the glorified PE teacher there, but it's absolutely fantastic to see. And you see a real, you know, there's a family element around the under-23s. You've got David Unsworth, who's an Evertonian through and through. You've got Morgan Feeney, who's an Evertonian through and through. You've got all these players that absolutely love it. Even the lads that have come in from other clubs, there's lads that have come in from QPR, there's lads that we've signed from other academies, and they're really taking on how it feels to be an Evertonian, what it means to be an Evertonian. And that's because David Unsworth is there constantly, week in, week out, saying, do you know what it means to this football club? You know, Goodison Park was booming on Monday night. The park end was full. There was fans there jumping around, screaming around, celebrating the under-23s title with the lads. You know, they won in Anfield this season 2-0, and I know it's at an under-23s level, and I know people will probably say, oh, it doesn't mean anything when the first team's not doing anything, but it does mean something, doesn't it? Because you look down your academy and you think, well, you know what, the next step down are winning it. Week in, week out, there's players in that under-23s that you're now realistically expecting Marco Silva and Marcel Brands to look at in the summer and go, we'll have you, we'll have you, we'll have you, we'll have you. And you know, that's to be expected. And for me, they were absolutely fantastic on Monday night. Not only did they win the game, not only did they lift the title, but they kept their nerve. They were winning 1-0 from around the 15th minute, and they kept their nerve against the Brighton team that obviously had to come out and they had to fight, because if they lost the game, they ended up losing the title. But if they'd have won the game, they'd have been right in it to win it as well. So they kept their nerve, they kept the confidence, and that's something that we don't really see in the first team. When was the last time Everton have been 1-0 up and kept that nerve and rided that out and won that game of football? We usually cave in and give it up. But the under-23s never. They went and they fought and they fought and they fought for each other and they fought for their manager. And that's exactly what you're seeing in that under-23s. Is you're seeing a squad of players. Doesn't matter how old they are, doesn't matter what league they're playing in. You're seeing a squad of players fighting for the manager and playing as a team. And they were absolutely fantastic on Monday night, as they've been for the whole entire season, and that's why they've been crowned champions. The future is really, really looking bright for Everton Football Club. It really, really is. Not just going forward with the first team in the summer, with the stadium, with Marco Silva, with Marcel Brands, but in the under-23s as well. You've got David Unsworth there that is really doing an absolutely fantastic job developing players, and if he can keep doing that and we can keep coming and going, right, we'll take Feeney, we'll take Kenny, we'll take Calvert-Lewin, we'll take Fraser Ormby. If he can keep doing that, if he can keep developing players, then we've got a really, really good system going there. Because for me, I think Fraser Ormby will be an Everton centre half and will be a first teamer in the next couple of years, and will then go on to continue to be a first teamer for, you know, hopefully a large majority of his career. I do think he's good enough to do that. You know, the likes of Fraser Ormby, who scored all sorts of goals this season. You've got Ellis Sims in the under-18s, who scored something like 50 goals in 40 games or something. And I know that's another massive step down, and that's a player for the, you know, the future and not in the next couple of seasons. But again, if you can get Ellis Sims and you can maybe promote him to the under-23s next season, and you can say, okay, Fraser's going to go and play with the first team, you're going to come to the under-23s, let's see what you can do, and he performs like that in the Premier League 2 next season, then you're thinking, okay, we're looking at him for the, you know, the first team in a couple of years as well. So it's absolutely fantastic to see. Of course, listen, there's nothing better than seeing Everton win a trophy. I've never seen Everton's first team win a trophy now, but I've seen and witnessed in the last 2 years in my adulthood, and I'm only 20 years old, Everton's under-23s win 2 Premier League titles. One was lifted after playing Liverpool at Goodison Park, and one was lifted on Monday night as well, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. So let me know your thoughts on, obviously, the under-23s winning the Premier League in the live comments down below. Where are we? David says, be a Jerry Curl ponytail next, sponsored by Soul Goal. Won't be that, mate. And Chava says, or a man bun. I'm getting absolutely ripped here, aren't I? AFC 1878 says, would you play any youngsters on the last day if the game can't affect our league position? You know what, if we were playing, and this, I don't mean this as in a disrespectful way, I don't mean this to, you know, have a go in any clubs or any squads. If we were playing like a Burnley at home, maybe in the second to last game of the season, if we were playing a Fulham at home or a Cardiff at home, maybe we're playing Spurs away at their new stadium, and they're going to have something to fight for, and we may still have something to fight for, but so you never know. But I'd definitely be bringing the youngsters into the pre-season camp in the summer, and I mean properly bringing them in, not just giving Morgan Feeney the odd 10 minutes, not giving Fraser Ormby and odd appearance, bringing them in, playing them consistently and seeing if they can do it at that level, and then bringing them into the Premier League squad next season. I think there'll probably be around at least 2 or 3 players that Marco Silva and Marcel Brands will have an eye on in that under-23 squad and will want to bring through for next season. Stoll says, I think he deserved the ban, but there's no consistency by the FA and it's due to corruption. The top 6 get away with murder because FA need the top 6 as it is because it brings the most money. Yeah, 100%. We'll talk about that in just a second. Shabba says, I watched it. It was a good game. Brighton were pretty good, but in the end we came through. Exactly, spot on, and that shows that resilience and that confidence and that togetherness that the lads had on Monday night. David says, Spurs would rip youngsters' confidence. Burnley, yes. Tyfini, Bowler, Gibson. I agree with that one. Paul says Galloway's leaving at the end of the season. Fair enough. He probably, at his age, he probably should leave the club as well if he's not getting first team football at that age. Maybe that's right for him. David says we look nervous, Shabba, unlike the lads. Yeah. Stoll says the 23s are decent, but they're way off the pace of the Prem. There's a couple of lads who might break in though. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, listen, it's well known in football, it's well known in academies that the step up from under 18s to under 23s is massive, and the step up from under 23s to Premier League football at the highest level is even bigger. So that step is massive, and it's okay to sit there and look at the under-23s and go, right, they've won the Premier League 2, let's go and bring Morgan Feeney and play him every game next season. Let's bring, you know, I've lost my head here. Let's bring Josh Bowler in, let's bring Fraser Hornby in and play him next season. It's very easy to look at that and say that because of how well these lads have done at that level, but it is a massive step up. It's a major step up from, you know, the under-23s to the Premier League is massive, and you've seen the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin come in over the last 2 or 3 years, and he's only just adjusting to that step up. The likes of Tom Davis as well, who still looks shaky here and there, but is seeming to adjust to that setup. John Joe Kenny, who for me personally hasn't adjusted to that setup yet. So it is a massive step up, but at the end of the day, you want to be bringing these players in young and not not giving too long and waiting until the likes of Brendan Galloway's age where he's looking going, you know what, I probably want to leave the club. There was an under-23s player that was playing for Brighton on Monday night that was 23 years old, and Ian Snodden said, listen, realistically, if he's good enough, he should be in a Premier League club. He should be playing first team football, so we need to be bringing the youngsters through at the right time, but making sure we don't leave them too long in the academy, because that's when, you know, they start to get older, and that's when they start to think, right, I'm going to move to another team so I can get Premier League football. And I do think there's generally a couple of lads in there that will be good enough to play Premier League football in the next couple of years. David says, no problem with Galloway leading, but Sims is also out of contract. I think Ellis Sims will sign a new contract. EFC 1878 says Fraser Hornby and Everton centre half. Did I say Fraser Hornby? I meant Morgan Feeney, of course. Paul Hewitt says, could you see Unsworth leaving for a manager job in the summer? No, I think Unzi's Everton through and through, and I think Unzi will stick it out and loves to continue to develop the young players with the under-23s. I think David Unsworth's dream job, as which he said before, is obviously the Everton first team manager. Didn't go as planned the last time he got the vacancy temporarily, but you know, who knows, he might just say, listen, I'm happy to develop the youngsters, I'm happy to be playing with the, you know, managing the under-23, sorry, and then when my time comes, if it ever comes, I'll take it then, but if not, I'm happy to stay at the club and do that. I suppose that's up to himself. Shabba says, go for the top rock, Cam, go on, you know you want to. Listen, this is purely just practicality. This isn't style, this is practicality, just to get it out my ear. I knew I was going to get slated for this. Megan says, state of your ear, sort it out, cuz listen, it's how it is. Enjoy it, basically. Enjoy it. Samuel says, it would be good to see the young lads have a go in the first team, not Premier League, but they should get an opportunity. They definitely should get an opportunity at the end of the day. You know, we've got a few competitions next season. Obviously, we're going to have the FA Cup, we're going to have the Carabao Cup, and I understand, you know, we need to take those competitions seriously because we want to realistically be winning them, and the Premier League as well. But, you know, if you bring in a Morgan Feeney into the squad, if you bring in a Fraser Hornby into the squad, maybe bring them, if we're playing a Burton in the Carabao Cup 4th round at Goodison Park and we're winning 4-0 in the 70th minute, maybe bring a Morgan Feeney on, give him 20 minutes, give him half an hour and see how he feels, you know, see how he fits in to the main squad, and you keep doing that. That's the key. You carry on doing that until you get to a point where they're ready to start, they're ready to come in, they're ready to play consistent football. David says, Megan, you're supposed to support, how harsh are you? And Megan says, sorry David, someone's got to tell him. And David says, pigtails look great with shit in your face. Listen, I knew I was going to get absolutely slated today. It's a good job I can take a joke in it. I knew I was going to come on and just get absolutely ripped to bits. Next time I'm going to put a full face of makeup on, I'm going to do my hair dead nice, and I'm going to sit here and go, listen, you can't say nothing. It's how it is. When you get scabs on your face, you have to get antibiotic cream to sort them out. The cream just thinks, you know what, I'll stay on your face forever. And when your hair's all over the place, I thought, fuck it, let's throw an headband in. But anyway, it's not about what I look like, it's not about my appearance, it's about the under-23s being absolutely quality once again, and David Unsworth leading them to another Premier League 2 title. So yeah, fantastic to see that on Monday night. Let me know what you all think about that in the live comments. If you're watching the YouTube video afterwards, let me know what you think in the YouTube comments as well. I'm just literally looking at the comment section and I'm just getting absolutely ripped to bits, but should I have expected it? Probably, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's go into talk about Andre Gomes and his retrospective ban for his stamp on Fulham's Alexander Mitrovic. Now, before we go into talk about this topic, it'd be really interesting to hear your guys' opinions on this. Before we go into talking about this, I just want to say, I think that Andre Gomes was very lucky to not be sent off on Saturday against Fulham. I think if the referee had have seen that, he'd have been sent off, and rightly so. And when I go on to talk about this, you know, issue that I have with the FA and the issue that I have with this retrospective ban, I want people to keep in mind that I'm not saying that Gomes should not have been banned. I'm not saying that what he done was okay, and I'm not saying that he should be able to get away with it. So the ban itself, the fact that Andre Gomes has been banned for 3 games for a stamp on Alexander Mitrovic, fine, whatever, don't have an issue with that. The issue I have is that Mo Salah stamped down a Napoli player's leg about 3-4 days ago, got absolutely nothing. It got the right turn to it because the FA know that they would have to be banned for 3 games, and that would jeopardise their chances of winning the Premier League. And we all know full well, Sky Sports, BT Sports, the FA, they all want Liverpool to win the league, and they will make that happen. I honestly think Liverpool will win the league because the massive companies will make that happen, because that's what they want. And the decisions Liverpool have got this season have been absolutely disgraceful at times. Mo Salah, if a stamp down somebody's leg that's not seen by a referee is, you know, retrospective action and is a 3-game ban once it's looked at in the studio afterwards, fair enough. But Salah should be banned now. and they mightn't have won their, Champions League game last week. They mightn't have won, not the Champions League game, sorry, because they were in it. Porto, he stamped down, not Napoli, I'm thinking of Arsenal. They mightn't have won at the weekend. You never know. They mightn't have beat Chelsea without Salah in that squad. But it gets turned a blind eye because it's Liverpool. It gets turned a blind eye because it's one of the top 6 sides. An Arsenal player, I think it was Lucas Torreira, absolutely stamped down Luca Dean's leg when we were playing Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. That got turned a blind eye because it's one of the top 6 teams. And I just think it's absolutely disgraceful. And listen, we've sat here on this live streams before. I've said on Twitter, I've said publicly live, the FA are corrupt. They are massively, massively corrupt. And the FA don't run the Premier League. Sky Sports run the Premier League. And you can blatantly tell, if you watch Sky Sports News, if you watch Soccer Saturday, if you look at, any sort of footballing game, there's always somebody to do with Liverpool there. There's always talking about Liverpool. They blatantly are biased towards that football club and the top 6 as a whole and want them to win the league. And somebody made a fantastic point before. The Sky need the top 6 to be Arsenal, Chelsea, City, United, Liverpool and Tottenham in whichever order it is, because that brings in the most money. And that's the corruption in football. And if you don't think football's corrupt, you don't know what you're talking about. You really, really don't know what you're talking about if you don't think English football is corrupt. FIFA were outed as being corrupt a couple of years ago. The FA, the exact same. There's no difference. Now, like I said, for me, if Andre Gomes is stamping down a player's leg and that's a 3-match ban, fair enough, he shouldn't have done it. He was silly to do it. And he'd have been sent off and banned if he'd have been caught. Yeah, but then you need to give the same punishment to other players that are doing it. Because it's laughable. It really, really is laughable that the same punishment isn't being given to other players. And you're looking at the likes of Salah, who are getting away with it. Mo Salah, who dives at least twice in every football game, gets away with it. He dived once, and it wasn't even a dive. He got hit, and he got banned for 3 games. Why is it that when our players do something, they get retrospectively actioned for it, but anybody else is just like, oh, the referee didn't see it today, so we'll just turn a blind eye? It really is a disgrace, and it's laughable, and it really, really is laughable. And I'll say it again, if you don't think English football and you don't think the FA are corrupt and you don't think Sky Sports is running this league, then you don't know what you're talking about. You really, really haven't got a clue about football, because the Sky and the FA need the top 6 teams to be how they are, like I've just mentioned before. And if they're not, they don't earn the most money, and that's why they will make that happen, whether it's with poor refereeing decisions, whether it's paying referees off. That's how they will make that happen. And I had a really, really interesting conversation in work today, and one of the lads in work said, listen, think about betting and how massive sport betting is in the world, how much money, how many, probably billions of pounds sports betting companies bring in every single year on bets. Do you not think that the FA are in that? Do you not think the FA are involved and think, you know what, actually, looking at them bringing in billions of pounds, maybe we'll get involved in that, maybe we'll swing it a bit. Maybe if we get involved in that and we say to a referee, hey, listen, give this team a penalty in the last minute, will you, because we've got loads of money on them to win, they'll do it. Course they are, course they are. It's blatant. There's been referees that have come out, retired referees that have come out and said, listen, we're being told to favour the top 6 sides. We're being told that if you're refereeing a game with a top 6 side, then make sure you do what you can to make them win. There's been referees that have come out and openly said, yeah, that's not about, let's say, a random penalty decision in a random Premier League game, and gone, yeah, that's not a penalty. And then they've been asked, would you give that at Anfield? And they've gone, probably, yeah. The corruption and the bias it's there to see, and if you don't think it's there, like I said, you're immune to it, or you support one of the top 6 sides and you don't see the other side of it, so you just think, no, everything's alright. It's not corrupt, it's not biased at all. Every single referee in this league is shite, absolutely shite. They couldn't referee a Sunday league game on Scotty Road. They are all shocking. There's referees in this league, very clear referees. I'll give you an example. Lee Mason is shit. He's a shit referee. He doesn't know how to do his job. But Lee Mason is a shit referee. Kevin Friend is a biased referee. Mark Clattenburg was a biased referee. Howard Webb was a biased referee. These referees are the ones that are being paid to make certain decisions. The likes of Lee Mason are just shit, and that's how they blend them in, because they make them all go, oh, they might have just had a bad day. No, half of them are biased and half of them are shite. There's maybe one decent referee in the Premier League. But it doesn't stop the fact that Andre Gomes' retrospective ban should be implemented to every single player that is caught stamping on another player in a football game that isn't banned there on the spot, isn't, challenged about it there on the spot by a referee. If Oumar Niasse is being banned for diving, why isn't Mo Salah out for 6 games for diving? Because that means Liverpool's chances of winning the league will be jeopardised, and we all know Sky, BT, the FA want and need Liverpool to win the league, so why would they do that? And the biggest issue I have with it, and I was thinking this before, and I was thinking, you know what, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say Gomes shouldn't be banned. I'm not going to sit here and say, blah, blah, blah. It shouldn't have been a red card. He shouldn't have been banned. He done nothing wrong. Because he did. He was stupid. It was absolutely stupid of him. I tweeted out straight after the game, it was stupid. Because he's going to get called for it, and he's either going to get banned or fined. And if he'd have been seen in the game, he'd have been banned for it there and then as well. It's silly. It's absolutely stupid. But the thing I think's funny, and really, really funny quite, is that we were playing Fulham on a Saturday afternoon. We weren't on television, legally, in the UK. We were on some dodgy channel somewhere in another country, watching it on live stream. When we played Arsenal, and I think it was Torreira stamped halfway up u23's leg, we were on Sky Sports. When Mo Salah decided to put a studs in the thigh of another player in the Champions League against Porto last week, they were on BT Sport. They were nationally broadcasted on telly, where people are seeing replays and going, yeah, that's a nasty challenge, that's a naughty challenge. We weren't broadcasted legally in this country. So people have gone out the way to have a look at that Andre Gomes situation and gone, yes, you need to be banned for 3 games. And they've seen blatantly right in front of them like that, hello, here's Mo Salah stamping into someone, and they've gone, nah, won't have a look at that. Don't worry about that. And it's laughable. It really, really is laughable. It's disgraceful and it's laughable. David says, match of the day post-referee are games, but Gomes was terrible with the challenge. The standard of the referee in the season has been worse than the last 2, and that's saying something. Next season where, yeah, exactly, 100%. Listen, again, not he said next season we have VAR studied by other refs. F my life, exactly. Studied by another group of people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about as well. Listen, I'm not defending Andre Gomes. Andre Gomes' challenge, it was shocking. It was shocking, but it's one rule for one and one rule for another in this league. And Andre Gomes should be banned retrospectively for stamping on someone's leg. And if that's how you're going to do it, then the next time one of the top 6 sides, one of their players, stamps on someone's leg, I want to see them banned. And you've got to carry on that consistency, or it's very clear that there's either an agenda against Everton or they won't make any decision against the top 6 side. And how there's still genuinely some football fans that think that the FA aren't corrupt and think that this league and the Premier League isn't corrupt, it just baffles me. It really, really... I sit here literally watching not just Everton games again. Cardiff have been rinsed for refereeing decisions this season. The West Ham decision against the shite, where the lad was 36 miles offside and the assistant referee was looking at him and he just went, fucking heavy, that fella's t-shirt there in the ground, I haven't seen that there, what goal? Oh yeah, go ahead, sweet. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's laughable. It really, really is laughable. And like I said, there's people that generally still out there thinking that this it's fair as fuck. And if you think that, you don't know what you're talking about. You really don't know what you're talking about. If you are enjoying the stream so far, please do leave a like. If you have enjoyed, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really, really does help me out a lot. Let me know your thoughts on the Andre Gomes stamp. I think we're all in agreement, and I think we're all sane enough to think, yeah, the Gomes stamp, it was stupid. He shouldn't have done it, and the stamp was worthy of a ban because it was worthy of a sending off, and he would have been sent off if he'd have been caught. But should he have been banned? Because other players get away with it every single week. So should he have been banned? And if he should be banned, then why aren't other players getting banned? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you're watching this YouTube video, if you're Nevertonian, if you're a fan of another club and you generally don't see the bias and you don't see the corruption in the Premier League, let me know why. Let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know what you generally see from point of view. If you're a supporter of the top 6, then it's very clear what you see. You see your team getting given every single decision, so you're not going to think the game's biased, you're not going to think the game's corrupt. But like I said, not just coming from an Everton fan, but having watched other teams this season in the Premier League, it's very, very clear that it's corrupt. And, if you can't see that, then for me, you're in a little bubble. You're in your own little bubble, and that little bubble is the bubble of the top 6, and that's the bubble that's being created by Sky Sports. As we only give a shit about these teams, make sure these teams finish in the top 6 sides, because we get the most money out of that, and fuck the rest of the league. And that's quickly making me fall out of love with this sport, because it's very clear that they favour certain teams and other teams just get pushed under the carpet. But anyway, that's that on that situation. That's going to do it for today's live stream anyway. A little bit of a short one, but I've been absolutely ripped in the comments about me here. I've got impetigo on my chin, so I'm probably just going to go to bed and go to sleep, to be honest. Nah, I'm only messing. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's stream. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. Subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Of course, it really, really does mean a lot to me. We're really, really close to 500 subscribers, so it would mean a massive amount if you haven't already. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you have enjoyed, like I said, please do leave a like. I'll be back tomorrow at 6:15. It was originally meant to be Friday, but I've realised that Friday's a bank holiday, and I understand that some people might be out enjoying the nice weather and, you know, having a couple of drinks to celebrate Easter. So it's going to be tomorrow, the next live stream. It'll be at 6:15. It will be the game preview to Everton versus Manchester United on Easter Sunday at Goodison Park. Don't forget to join us for that one. Should be a really, really interesting preview and should be a really, really interesting game to talk about. Stoll says VAR won't really help anything though. Look at Man United's last minute penalty against PSG. There's no way a ref will give decisions like that to teams outside the top six. Exactly, spot on, and that's exactly what it is. You'll still have the same corruption, you'll still have the same bias, you'll just have 5 other referees proving that they're just as biased as the one on the pitch. But it is what it is, isn't it? And we can't do anything as fans because we are literally just customers at the minute to the likes of Sky and the likes of the Premier League. But what can we do? What can we do? But anyway, that's going to do it for today's team. Like I said, please do hit the like button if you have enjoyed. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at MightyBluesYT to keep up to date with all of the latest Everton news and news around the channel as well. We'll be back tomorrow at 6:15 for the live game preview of Everton versus Manchester United at Goodison Park. So don't forget to join us for that one. Stoll says, but PSG attack more attention than United at the minute. Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's team. Massive thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.